Dudes, you know what is frustrating is thinking you are recording a video and you're not recording a video. This bottle is halfway gone. I already reviewed it for you, but only I will ever know what the review said. Sigh. I mean, I had this whole conversation with you guys about Ambev and macro brewing and micro brewing as I reviewed this thing. All right, let's try to do this again. All right, so this is Session Citra from Wals. Wals Brewing. You guys remember Goose Island? You guys know Goose Island. It's still around. Okay, so Goose Island is a craft brewery that was bought several years ago by Anheuser-Busch. Not by Anheuser-Busch, by Ambev. So this huge Brazilian Dutch beer conglomerate came together, created the monster company Ambev, and they swallowed the top predator in the American beer environment. Now, obviously, we think of the Dutch as a beer people, but actually Brazilians drink a lot of beer. They are near the top in the world as far as consumption of beer goes. Craft brewing is still developing here, but as far as it's like drinking mass market lagers, Brazilians can put them away with the best of them. So they're actually, it makes sense that one of the biggest beer companies in the world would be Brazilian. So Ambev knows that they have to win back market share from craft brewing. I don't know if they have to, but they feel they do. So they have several strategies for doing that. Some of them are quite negative. One of the more positive ones is that they acquire craft companies and make them their own. They not only control the distribution, which is something they do for companies they don't own, but they also actually own the brewery itself. And that's what happened with Goose Island. Well, two of the top craft breweries in Brazil in the last few years were acquired by Ambev. Colorado is one, and the other is Wals. And they're not at the top as far as size goes. These guys produce some good beers. Some of my favorite beers produced in Brazil, that don't die, not necessarily talking about like some obscure imperial stout or whatever, but as far as like, you can find them in a lot of places, and you always kind of know their beer's going to be good. Colorado and Wals. And Ambev purchased them both. So this is distributed by the same company that sells to Budweiser. Will it be tasty? Oh, it will. We know it will be. First of all, because it's Wals, and as I said, Wals usually does good stuff. And second of all, because like I said, I already reviewed this video while I wasn't recording. Reviewed this beer while I wasn't recording. Sigh. Okay, so this Explosivo beer, Explosivo, is only 3.9% ABV. So it truly is supposed to be a session beer. Pure beer, light malt, refreshing hops. That's what it's supposed to be. Okay, so give you a little pour here. A little bit of a head forms. You can see there's not much lacing. This beer is pretty carbonated. On my first pour, it was really obvious. Less obvious on this one. Very little scent, like just a light pine. But it's not. Most IPAs kind of punch you in the nose. This doesn't at all. So very light scent. Suggests pine, but that's all. So light, highly carbonated, super light mouthfeel. The flavor is, it's all in the back. Not just talking about the bitterness, but the flavor itself. Lightly fruited, but very light. Like it's hard to describe what the fruit is because it's so light. What happens is, and the mouthfeel is super light. There's a bitterness that kind of stays around the back, or kind of a grapefruit pith bitterness that lingers. It's still there, like right now. I'm still talking, and it's still there. So although it's very light, it's not immature. I really like this bitterness that sticks around. And so I wouldn't call this a session IPA at all. I would call this a session pale ale. That might be a marketing decision. Maybe the market's not ready for something that's not called an IPA. There are pale ales out there in Brazil, paleales. I think IPA is a more just a stronger concept. So maybe it was a marketing decision. I wouldn't call this an IPA because of the lack of body to it. But its bitterness deserves a nod of respect. So I would call this like a session pale ale. If you're making a session IPA, you'd have to decide, well, either we're going to make it really drinkable. We have to either ratchet down the bitterness or we're going to have to ratchet down the body. And they made a great decision. They decided to ratchet down the body. So I can dig that. The body's super light. That bitterness is there. It's present. Pith, grapefruit peel, sticks around in the back, and it's still there. So that's something nice about a session beer. Not only do you want it to be light, so you can drink all day, but you want it to be chatting with your friends, as I am doing now, and you can still taste the beer. It's not weighing down. So, fantabulous. If you ever get a chance to try it, I approve. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm going to finish this bottle. And wish you well.